So, hello from Iceland. We have 1st of August today, which means that this is a great day to talk about all the things that you should know about this month. And for some of you, this will hopefully help you decide whether this is actually a good month for you to visit Iceland or not. And so let's cover this topic as we together explore this old road behind me. This is the road located on the coast of Troll Peninsula, and which in the past, before the tunnels were built, was used to connect town Olasfjörður and the east part of the peninsula. And to be honest, I have only hiked the other side of the fjord, not from this side, so this will be a new one for me as well. Alright, so the first thing that we should probably cover is the daylight hours, because it will be really different. At the beginning of the month you can expect to have pretty much 24/7 hours of daylight, and so bringing things like sleep mask could be, for example, a great idea. And trust me when I say that long days like this are really amazing, because your days can be pretty flexible and you can be exploring the island even in the late evening hours. But the downside here is that you cannot really see any northern lights in this part of the month. However, about halfway through the month, the things start changing and the nights start getting darker and darker. And so actually in the late August, there is a pretty good chance that you might be able to spot some of the first northern lights of the season. And the interesting fact about it is that if the northern lights are strong enough, you don't even necessarily need 100% darkness to see them. And the biggest advantage here will probably have photographers who will be able to capture the northern lights and then sort of pull them out of the sky in the post-processing. And so that's even if in reality they are still pretty weak, but on the photo they can appear very strong. But generally speaking, more closer to the end of the month, the darker it gets. And so if the sky is clear, the bigger the chance for you to see northern lights. And so while nights at the beginning of the month are still completely bright, by the end of it we already get a couple of hours darkness. And speaking of darkness, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but I just noticed that it just got much darker, and I realized that there is actually some rain coming, and it was in the forecast, I saw that, but it was supposed to start a little bit later today. Yeah, seems like we might not make it, but we are making a progress, so let's continue and let's get to the rest of it later on. The second thing that we need to touch on is the weather, and here's where a lot of people make mistakes. And that's because even though Iceland can have some pretty warm days and we can have temperatures around, even over 20 degrees Celsius, still the average is around 10 degrees, something like that. And with the wind, it can actually feel sometimes like it's even less. And so you can see, like right now I'm only in the t-shirt, or like thermo t-shirt, but that's because I'm moving and I'm pretty warm. But give me like 10 minutes and I'll be putting on a jacket and all that. And I have plenty of videos on my channel where I go through like what to wear, what to pack and so on. But just to cover the basics, you basically always want to have at least one thermal layer. Same for the legs. Now I'm in my biking shorts, right? But still, another layer, then you would like to have some hiking pants, also hiking shoes, and then one down jacket, and then one some sort of shell, something that will keep you dry and won't let the wind through. And so what I always say is you just want to have clothes that will keep you warm and dry. And if you take it to the basics, it's just simple as that. And so just keep that in mind, and I'll leave the link in the description to the video where I go through everything in detail. And I'll also give you the link for a Amazon store where I basically listed everything that you might want to pack. And yeah, I almost forgot, I also wanted to mention rain, because as you probably know, Iceland can be pretty rainy. And if you look at the statistics, they say something about 23 rainy days in August, which seems like a lot, but honestly it's not like a heavy rain. It's usually like a sort of drizzle, you know, and then it goes away, then it comes back and so on. But I mean, it can be still pouring rain, don't get me wrong, but it's not as common as like a light rain. And so all in all, people visiting Iceland often come from a place with a warm summer, not really expecting the weather to get too cold at all. And then after a couple of days, having to buy some extra layers. And that will definitely cut into your budget, at least compared to bringing some more clothes from home. But hey, luckily for you, you are watching this channel, and so now you know. Okay, so seems like the road is gone. Wow. But it's probably not the best place to be hanging around for too long. You can constantly hear some rocks falling somewhere in the distance. So I just have to be careful. That's why I also have my helmet on right now. It's an amazing place though. Just can't imagine how they used to drive here. It is just so sketchy. I mean, check out this drop here. Insane. Alright, so as you can see, I made it. This road continues down to Olasfjörður, and so if I was to follow that, this is exactly where it would take me. But I'm not going to do that because the road is pretty damaged and there is like landslides all over it, so it's basically unbikeable. And also I can see that the rain is coming, so I'll continue making my way back to the car. But first, I just wanted to mention something, and I don't really know who cares, but here's my personal opinion on August. Well, first of all, as you can see, August is absolutely beautiful time to travel in Iceland. The weather, even though it can be still shitty, is pretty much as good as it gets, at least compared to most of the other months. Flowers are blooming, it is a blueberry and mushroom season, and you can still see puffins. There is also tons of activities that you can book and experience. And if you have a right vehicle or plan on going hiking, you can access pretty much every place on the island. And if you come at the end of the month, then you even get to experience Northern Lights, which in my opinion is just a complete package. But of course there are also some downsides to this month, and so let's mention that. Like the rest of the summer, August is one of the busiest months of the year. And so expect all the popular places to be packed with people. A lot of the accommodations are likely to be booked out pretty soon too, and so it can be a pretty good idea to plan your trip in advance. And that also goes hand in hand with prices, because everything is generally way more expensive in the summer compared to, for example, winter months. But still, this is something that just shouldn't discourage you from visiting Iceland in August, because I mean, check this out, this place is absolutely epic and I'm here completely alone, and places like this, they are all over the island. And so if you are worried about the crowds during the summer, I mean, you just have to put a little bit more effort into planning, and also just try to visit places that aren't like marked on the map everywhere and in every tourist guide. And so yeah, just do more exploring, that's my advice. And for example, even in the busiest region, South Iceland, you can still find places that aren't crowded at all. For example, I recently hiked to the bottom of this waterfall, Háuifoss, where I was pretty much completely alone for most of the time. But you see what I said there? I said hiked, which seems is something that not many people are willing to do nowadays. Alright, so it seems like I'm going to completely disappear in the clouds now. I don't know if you can see that, but they are moving so fast. Right, and so let me change the view for a bit so you can still enjoy some of that. There we go. So where was I? Yeah, I just basically wanted to say that if you are thinking if August is actually a good month to visit Iceland, and definitely yes it is. And if I could personally choose between the beginning and the end of the month, then I would probably change the end of the month, only because you can see the Northern Lights, which I think is a huge plus if you are traveling here. But if you are wondering what is it like in Iceland during other months of the year, then you can check out this playlist right here, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!